I hope you enjoyed our Fast and Prayer Week devotionals this week, that we basked in the greatness of God's character, wondered at what Christ accomplished, and today we seek His guidance as we approach a new year. What are the plans or needs that most consume your thoughts right now? Who should I marry? What should my major be in college? Should I buy this house? How can I care for my kids now that they're fully grown? Well, God's Word doesn't directly answer all those issues, but Psalm 25 does give us helpful directions as we seek God's will for our lives. In verse 1, David says, "To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. O my God, in you I trust. Let me not be put to shame. Let not my enemies exult over me. Indeed, none who wait for you shall be put to shame. They shall be ashamed who are wantonly treacherous. Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me. For you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all the day long." So as the psalmist proclaims his trust in God and asks him to help him know his ways and his paths, he describes his posture as waiting for the Lord. He said, "No, none who wait for you shall ever be put to shame. For you I wait all the day long." This waiting is a setting of our hopes and expectations on God alone, not putting a time limit on our trust in God. Our posture is desperate need for God to guide us to the truth always. God's truth is clearly revealed in His Word, but we need God to teach us these things deep down in our souls, not merely a head knowledge, but a knowledge that makes us wait on the Lord, and a knowledge that leads to humility. Next, David cries out for God to remember His mercy and steadfast love and to not remember his sins. As God teaches him the truth, the result is a humble acknowledgement of his dependence on God's mercy. He continues to emphasize this humility in verse 8 when he says, "Good and upright is the Lord. Therefore, He instructs sinners in the way. He leads the humble in what is right and teaches the humble His way." By ways and paths, David has in mind the many different decisions that face him. And when he says, "Lead me in your truth," he literally is asking that he would be faithful to God in these varying circumstances. David wants to act always to honor God. So does God's Word invite us to seek guidance on the particulars of our lives? What job to take? What community group to join even? Well, yeah, we should seek the filling of the Spirit and His guidance. And God does sometimes speak in those kinds of ways, but more often, God's Word calls us to seek a certain heart in our decision making. You see, we get consumed with the "what we will do" question. But God is here pushing us towards a different question. Who will we be? And though exact spiritual impressions for specific directions is not promised, He promises to teach His truth and to lead us to what is right, to teach us to act faithfully in a variety of circumstances. And He promises that no matter what we will do, our lives will be immersed in steadfast love if we seek this kind of guidance. Verse 10 says, "All the paths of the Lord are steadfast love and faithfulness for those who keep His covenant and His testimonies." Friend, no matter the decision we make that lies before us this year, all the paths of the Lord are steadfast love and faithfulness for those who keep His covenant and His testimonies. Now, David does turn to specific needs from verse 11 on. And we are to bring specific burdens, specific needs to the Lord in prayer. Even as we proclaim our trust, like in verse 1, we should make God aware of the places that we need His help. And I'd encourage you to even do that now, today. But too often, we race to our temporal needs and current decisions and fail to realize that the ultimate place we need God's help and guidance is in our hearts. Most of this psalm is David doing soul work to get his heart right as he lays his needs before the Lord. He's waiting on the Lord. He's seeking the truth in humility. These are the main things. So let's approach our decisions this year the same way. Let's labor to bring our souls to God and trust Him. Let's ask Him to really teach our hearts to know the truth. Let's approach Him in humility, knowing that a fresh reminder of His mercy is what we need most of all. And let's step out in faith, guys. If you're not acting in disobedience to God's word, and you have sought godly counsel and listened to it, and if you've laid your heart before the Lord and waited on Him in guidance, you can step out in faith, making decisions, knowing that all the paths of the Lord are steadfast love and faithfulness for those who keep His covenant and His testimonies. So may God make known His ways and teach you His paths and teach you His truth this day and this year.